Have you ever thought about just how dark some Disney movies actually get?
Yeah. Isn't it great?
We've got all the times Disney shocked us with just how disturbing they got. From skinning puppies to throwing babies in wells, we're still not over some of these scenes. Number 1. We all remember Carl Fredricksen's loss in Up. This famous movie moment was a doozy. Up's opening sequence left us feeling way too emotional for the start of a Disney movie. We watch Carl and his wife Ellie in their youth, from getting married to planning for a baby, and then things go south. They suffer from a miscarriage, and then Carl loses his wife. Sure, this scene reflects real life, and it helped the audience warm up to Carl, but this tear-jerking moment hurt too much. Number 2. Up wasn't the only Disney movie to deal with mortality.
I don't think that's daylight.
Do you remember what happened to the toys in Toy Story 3? The toys in the Toy Story franchise dealt with some serious topics from the beginning. From jealousy to abandonment to, well, torture.
No! No!
These toys have been through it over the years.
Oh, Barbie! Those were vintage!
In Toy Story 3, however, they are forced to come to terms with what their future will look like once Andy leaves for college. That in itself is quite a heavy concept for toys and young viewers alike, but then they also come face to face with their imminent demise in a garbage incinerator. We even see the characters holding hands as they accept their horrific fate. All we have to say about this one is yikes. Don't worry, not all of our videos are yikes-inducing. Don't forget to like and subscribe to The Things Animated to see more. Number 3. Speaking of yikes-inducing, and the concept of mortality, of course, who could forget about Bambi's mom? The fate of Bambi's mom is one of the most memorable dark moments in Disney history, and it definitely lives up to the hype. We all remember when the hunters get Bambi's mom, and Bambi is left defenseless and scared as he searches for her. This classic does get a bit cheerier from there, but there's a reason that this is the part of the movie that really sticks with us. Number 4. Tarzan and Bambi have one very sad thing in common, but that's just one of the tragedies in Tarzan. Tarzan's parents also meet a rather grisly end, and while it happens off-screen, we see some pretty disturbing aftermath. That's plenty of horrifying content for one movie, but Disney didn't stop there. They also made sure that the film's main villain, Clayton, met his demise in a similarly gruesome way. We basically watch him accidentally hang himself on some vines. Guess that's what happens when you mess with the jungle. Number 5. So, what happens when you mess with the king of the jungle? Well, that doesn't end well either. But knowing that doesn't make rewatching Mufasa meet his maker any easier. Scar throws his very own brother off of a cliff while little Simba watches in fear. It's bad enough that Simba has to watch his own dad take a fatal fall, but we have to watch too? That's just not fair.
Dad, come on. You gotta get up.
Almost as unfair is the fact that Scar then blames Simba for Mufasa's fate and then sends his hyenas to get him. Scar really is pure evil, but when it comes to Disney villains, he's definitely not the only one. Number 6. Cruella De Vil also fits into that category. Sure, with a name like Cruella De Vil, she was set up for a somewhat immoral existence, but come on, skinning puppies? Puppies! Kidnapping puppies and skinning them is the darkest of the dark as it is, but it manages to get even worse, because she actually plans on wearing their furs after? She really does live up to her name. She is a cruel devil. Number 7. From watching someone hurt puppies to witnessing the terrifying aftermath of war, Disney's darkness is all over the map. Literally and figuratively, this horrific moment takes us to China. During one of the movie's best bangers, A Girl Worth Fighting For, we're abruptly hit with this. We're fully expecting a grand finale for this satirical bop when all of a sudden we're met with the realities of war. Mulan and her fellow soldiers return to their village to see everything completely destroyed. This scene does a great job of illustrating how all joy is stolen during wartime. But come on, isn't this supposed to be an uplifting movie? Number 8. Speaking of uplifting movies, just kidding. We've got The Black Cauldron. If you're thinking The Black Cauldron isn't that bad, then we're guessing that you don't know about the deleted scenes. The Black Cauldron was actually the first PG-rated Disney movie, but that wasn't until after a whopping 10 minutes of content was cut. This axed footage included some disturbing stuff, like a character getting their neck and torso cut open and some mist that dissolves human skin. Yes, you heard that right, and yes, we do see said mist in action. And it's pretty horrifying. Number 9. That will be Judge Claude Frollo.
Excuse me.
They may not be quite as fancy as the Mist, but the Hunchback of Notre Dame villain did have a staircase and a well, and he used them to deliver a pretty dark Disney moment. During the Bells of Notre Dame, Judge Claude Frollo pushes Quasimodo's mother down the stairs to her death. He then goes to throw her baby into a well, saying,
This is an unholy demon. I'm sending it back to hell.
The song does say that Judge Frollo saw corruption everywhere except within, and we think this sounds about right, since he's the only unholy demon in this scene. If you're hoping that this is the last moment on this list where a child loses their mother, we're sorry to disappoint you. Number 10. Disney loves a main character with a deceased mother, and the Fox and the Hound is no exception. Todd gets abandoned by his mother, and then we hear gunshots. Unfortunately, we all know what that means. Later, after making a friend, Cooper, Todd finds out that Cooper's owner, Amos, caused the gunshots at the movie's start. Dear Amos, we hate you. Sincerely, everyone.
That thing's loaded!
Luckily, not every Disney villain is totally hateable. Some of them are actually beloved, like... Number 11, Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog. He's not a good guy per se. He is trying to sell innocent people's souls to his friends on the other side, so we'll admit that the bar is pretty low here, but he's become one of the most popular fan-favorite Disney villains. Unfortunately, his popularity didn't stop this voodoo witch doctor from meeting a very unfortunate fate. They cut out the middleman here, and he's dragged directly to hell while begging for mercy. Luckily, his demonic friends perform a lively song as he's dragged to his final resting place to soften the blow a bit. But as much as we love catchy musical numbers, they can't make every dark moment easy to swallow. Number 12. Catchy musical numbers abound as we watch poor Belle succumb to her beastly love story. And while they may have distracted us from the faults at the core of Beauty and the Beast, it's time to talk about them. First, the Beast imprisons Belle's father in his castle just for trespassing. Then he trades him for his daughter, treats her horribly, and says she can never escape. So while you may not have thought of this as a dark Disney moment before, it is pretty disturbing that these two end up together. Oh, and let's not forget about those skulls in Gaston's eyes when he takes that deadly fall. That's pretty dark too. Number 13. If a beast and a human falling in love isn't weird enough for you, how about human children turning into donkeys?
What's he think I look like? A jackass?
We have Pinocchio to thank for giving us this idea. Children are turned into donkeys and sold, and it seems like they stay that way forever. Sheesh. We're just thankful that Pinocchio isn't a true story. Number 14. We can't say the same for Pocahontas, however. And while this movie took enough artistic liberties to make this seem like a love story, the real story is far from it. In real life, Pocahontas was almost certainly forced into her marriage. So while movie Pocahontas made the right choice to send this toxic man out to sea, they're trying really hard to make colonialism seem more romantic than horrifying. Consequently, this is a dark moment either way. Sorry we had to remind you of all those scarring Disney moments. Can you believe they got away with some of that stuff? Let's talk about it in the comments, and if you love videos like this one, make sure you like and subscribe to The Things Animated for plenty more.